Hello. I wasn't really planning this video, so sorry if it's a little bit rambly. Um, and sorry for the setup, because usually I have better light because I've planned it, and anyway, we'll make do. I saw some questions on Twitter, and I used to give this talk at like libraries and stuff about writing a book and the process involved, and I just thought I would do a short-ish video about a couple of things that were coming up. So I'm going to proceed from the point of you've written a book. You've finished a manuscript. Now, what that would entail ideally would be that you were part of a critique group in which fellow writers were looking at your work and providing feedback. And then also you have had beta readers look at it and provide feedback as well. And if you want to know, the difference is that like a critique group is fellow writers, and beta readers are typically readers who look for different things than writers do. Now, I know a lot of writers are also readers. You can have writers in your beta group, and you know that's fine. But you want fresh eyes for that process. So let's say you've got a finished, polished manuscript. Maybe you have or haven't hired an editor, like a freelance editor, to go through it with you. There's a lot of debate on whether that's necessary, but at the end of the day, you have something good enough to begin sending out to agents and or publishers. And here's where it gets a little bit nudgy. This is kind of what I was seeing on Twitter as like a question. Number one, don't query agents and publishers at the same time. It's considered bad etiquette, and I found this out the hard way myself. I worked in publishing and never kind of even thought about this because it wasn't on my radar when I was working as an editor or anything like that. By the time things got to me, that side of stuff was done. There was agents or whatever was happening. So the reason is, if you get an agent, the agent wants to be able to send your book to publishers, but if you've already queried a bunch of publishers, you've suddenly shut a lot of doors in the agent's face. You can't submit to an agent and then say, oh, by the way, all these publishers already said no because I was querying them at the same time. It's just not good form. So query agents first if you want an agent. Hopefully you will get one. If you don't and you're not ready to jump into self-publishing, you're thinking, well, at the very least, I would like a publisher backing me, you can start researching and querying publishers that accept unsolicited manuscripts, which means a manuscript submitted directly by the author rather than submitted by an agent. A lot of big publishers, most big publishers, will not accept unsolicited manuscripts. That's the reason a lot of authors look for an agent. They're hoping to land a deal with Simon & Schuster or Macmillan. Are they still a thing? Oh my God. Anyway, I'm old. I don't know, St. Martin's Press, something like that. One of these big ones. Whereas there are any number of smaller independent publishers who will still consider work directly from authors. And then this again is where it gets a little bit iffy. Someone on Twitter was saying, well, I've heard from these publishers, they've dropped their price. And a bunch of authors went, wait, what do you mean they dropped their price? And this querying author was prepared to pay a publisher to publish her book. You should never pay a publisher to publish your book. Here's how publishing works. An agent or a publisher accepts a manuscript, and they accept it because they believe they can sell it. They believe that the work will sell. It's a business. It's a marketplace. It isn't a reflection sometimes on how good the work is. Sadly, we like to think, well, only good stuff gets published, but in truth, what it comes down to is, can we sell it? Will people buy it, regardless of how well written it is? If it's a good enough story or something, or if the author's a big enough name, at some point it sells itself, right? So the publisher makes money through the author, and then the author gets paid through the publisher. You should never, as an author, be paying a publisher to publish your work, because then the publisher has made its money from you, and is not motivated to sell your work because they've already made their money. They made it when you paid them. That is called vanity publishing. It's a predatory practice, and you should avoid it. Any publisher that's asking you to pay, whether they try to make it sound reasonable, they're like, well, but it goes towards editing costs and a book cover, and you would have to pay for all this yourself if you were going to self-publish. And that's true. Self-publishing means that you sink costs into your book prior to selling it. You're your publisher. You're the one who is going to believe in the book and market it and hopefully recoup those losses. They're not losses, but recoup that investment. And so that's self-publishing. Self-publishing, yes, it will cost you money, but you should never pay a publisher to slap their label on your book, because at the end of the day, they're then not really motivated to help you. Now, I'm sure that some publishers do this with good intent, but many more of them do it with ill intent. They just want your money. They won't give you a proper edit. They may or may not give you a decent book cover. They're definitely not going to market you or put you in bookstores or anything like that. You're going to be pounding pavement trying to get your local indie to stock your book or something, which is what you would do if you self-publish. Self-publishing, like I said, is a whole other thing. I've done it. I've had both small publishers and self-publisher. I've had a self-publisher, and it's me. But those experiences I could talk about another time if you want. I've found that for me, self-publishing works better. I get a better return on my investment that way. That's just me. It's different for everyone. Some people have small publishers they adore. Obviously, people with agents have a very different experience and publishing path. But those were the couple things I wanted to address, just in terms of publishing, like what your options are, what you should and shouldn't do. Yeah, just a quick one. And then again, if you have questions about publishing, self-publishing, the process, etiquette, then feel free to look me up, tweet at me, ask me a question here. I'm fine with any of that. And my Haunted Mansion ears. Yeah, I think that covered the two like kind of major things I wanted to just get cleared up. I just thought it would be faster and easier to do in a video than to keep writing tweets to random people saying, no, don't pay them, and don't, and they were like, well, I told the publisher I was waiting for an agent, and I'm like, you shouldn't have been querying a publisher and an agent at the same time. Again, I made that mistake. It's an honest mistake. I hope the person I responded to didn't take it poorly. It's always hard to tell in tweets whether or not people are being kind of nasty about it, and with my Asperger's, I can't always tell how I'm coming off, so I try. I don't know. I try. I promise. I don't ever mean to be mean or snarky. If you're ever reading me on Twitter, unless I'm just really mad about something, but then it should be very clear that I'm mad about something. But yeah. Okay. Enough. Again, if you have any other questions, if you want me to clarify anything, if you ever want me to talk about my time working in publishing, or my experience with small publishers versus self-publishing, I'm happy to answer questions. Let me know, and have a great rest of your weekend. And I will see you. I'm almost done with Clara in the Sun. I will see you with a book review, hopefully very soon. Great book. Short answer. Read it. It's amazing. Easily the best thing I've read all year so far, probably in the past couple years. Love it. I'm also biased because I love Ishiguro, but Anyway, okay, say goodbye. Say goodbye to Kero and Sebastian and Scipio, and I will see you next time.